Welcome back, CrossFit Inconceivable community. Coach Amelia here with video 2, the explanation portion of the Around the Back workout. So I'm going to talk you through the format of the workout, explain all the movements, give you some scaling options. We'll go through a mini practice round to get the rhythm, and then you'll join me in the next video for the full workout. Okay? So how this is going to look is a 12-minute AMRAP, or as many rounds and reps as possible, of 10 alternating toe taps from the crab position, and I'll show you what that looks like. We're going to count those as right 1, left 2. Okay, so 5 each side, 10 total for that movement. Then we're going to do 10 single leg glute bridge raises, and that one we need to get 10 for each side, and I'll show you what that looks like as well. Then 10 Supermans and 10 hollow rocks. So you go through each of those movements and then you go back again. And we have 12 minutes. So if you want to keep something nearby to count, you can keep a tally. I have a cup of dry erase markers that sometimes I'll use, pencils where you just kind of lay one down as you move through each round to help you count. Okay? So I'm going to set the clock so we stay on our time rhythm here and show you what each of those movements looks like. Okay? So the first are those alternating toe taps from the crab position. And we have two choices as far as hand placement. You can have your hands facing back or your hands facing in. Depending on your anatomy and shoulder flexibility, you'll find the one that feels best for you. So what you want to do is try to see if you can lift your hips in either of those. Maybe try it either way and see which one makes it feel like you can keep the most engagement, keep those hips as high as possible. And what we're trying to do is keep the hips up and then reach for the opposite toe. Okay? So I'm taking my left hand to my right foot, my right hand to my left foot. I know I'm mirrored in these videos. I'm going to work on that for next time. And we want 10 total, or 5 each side, alternating every time. Right, then left, okay, for 10 total. If it's too much, if you can't really keep the hips high, if that's too much stress on the arms, you can keep the hips down, keep the arms behind you, and reach for the toes, okay? If for any reason you're having a lot of stress in the shoulders, you can take the arms out of the picture from the background and just reach for toe taps here, okay? Even from there, you could do rotations to each side and engage the core that way, okay? So we're looking for 10 alternating, 5 each side of the toe taps from the crab position, and this is kind of the point of performance from the top, okay? Trying to keep the hips up and off the floor if you can, or using those scaling options as you need to, all right? The next one is the single leg glute bridge raise, and this one we're going to be lying on our backs. We're going to have one leg planted and the other leg extended, and our thighs are going to be parallel, so you can't see my back leg because I'm keeping that leg in line with it. So it's not below and it's not way above my other leg. It's right in line with the other thigh. And all I'm going to do is lift my hips from the ground toward the ceiling and lower. Okay, lift and lower. And for this one, I recommend either doing the whole set of 10 on one leg or doing 5, then switching the other leg, doing 5, and doing 2 sets of 5 for each leg. So you want to do 10 total on each side. But alternating can get a little bit kind of cumbersome. Sometimes I like to do, say, some reps. Whatever's going to help you keep track of it. There's 5, and then I'd switch. You could switch each leg each time, but it might be a little less efficient that way. If it's too much to have the leg lifted, you can do just regular glute bridges. Okay, just lift as high as you can, pressing the feet into the floor and lifting the hips off the ground. If that's too much, you can just do the straightening of the leg part, okay? And you can just alternate that for 10 each side, okay, or 20 total. If you're doing the glute bridges, trying to get to 20 total as well, if you're not doing the single leg. If you're doing the leg raises, 10 each side and 20 total that way. So that's the second movement. Then we come to the Supermans. And for the Superman, we're going to be on our belly, and we're going to be lifting both the arms and legs up, engaging the muscles of the back, okay? So we want to ideally keep the legs close to each other, squeeze the glutes and hamstrings, squeeze the back muscles to lift up tall. If it's too much, you can just lift the chest. And if that's too much stress, you can do a little bit of hand assist with the back bend, okay? Good. If any of those are too much, just working on squeezing back and glutes with the arms in close, and just trying to wake up any of those posterior muscles for 10 reps, okay? And the last one is a hollow rock. And this one's a little bit tough for me, so we'll see how it goes. The idea with the hollow rock is you want your low back to be planted, engaged on the floor. And I have quite a bit of a lordosis, a curve in my low back, and that can be tricky. So the way I try to find that spot is to bring my arms and legs up, kind of to 90 degrees, and then lower, thinking about sucking my belly button into my spine, keeping the belly engaged until my back starts to come off the floor. So as soon as that happens, I stop. And for some people, they can get all the way down here, and I can start to do that, but I'm also recovering in ab injury, so it's a little bit trickier. And if that makes you feel like your back starts to arch, or if you have any problems where your belly muscles start to separate, that's not a good idea for you. I'll give you some options there, okay? But if you're able to get into a position where you're able to have your back on the floor and your legs lowered toward the ground and your arms overhead, you start to rock, okay? And you count it as every time the feet come down, 1, 2, 3, okay, and up to 10. So that's kind of the point of performance, and ideally, if you can do it from this really low and hollow position, great. You know, and I'm working to graduate there. If that's too much, you know, use that kind of top position and just work on kind of encouraging that rocking motion. If that's too much, if you start to get some of that diastasis or separation of your belly muscles, you could just do some leg lowers, watching for that, maybe just a little bit. Or if you could go all the way to here. Otherwise, doing some work in a bird dog, in a dead bug, alternating those is from here. You might just lower one arm and one leg, watching for the belly and seeing how that goes for any separation, okay? So hollow rock is what we're trying to get to, okay, where we're here and we're kind of engaging our core and rocking, but we have some alternatives. Maybe a shorter range of motion, maybe the leg lifts, maybe the dead bug, opposite arm and leg, lowering. Things are going to help work our core. And if all of that's too much, holding a plank position at the wall for kind of a solid 1, 2, 3, really engaging here for a 10 count would be another option for that one. Okay, so I'm going to hold up this sheet so we see it visually one more time. 10 of our alternating toe taps in the crab walk position or any of those modifications. 10 total, 5 each side. 10 single leg glute bridge raises, and that's 10 each side, so 20 total. 10 Supermans and 10 hollow rocks. And then you keep going through that movement all the way along. So let's do a practice round where we just do, let's say, 3 of each, okay? And we'll add an extra one of the crab just to make it even side to side. And so we're going to get 4 here for the crab walk. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to get our single leg glute bridge raises. So we're going to get 3 each side for this one. And I'm going to lift 1, 2, 3 on one side and then switch. And 1, 2, 3 on the other side and then switch. I'm going to roll into my belly for my Supermans. Get 1, 2, 3. And roll back over for the hollow rocks and count 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the gist of the workout. It's going to be all 10s. And join me in the next video as we get right into it.